video is going to show you how you can use Google Slides for an interactive jigsaw with your students. The first thing you'll want to do is access Google Slides. You can select slides.new and it will create an untitled presentation. Then you'll want to check your share settings. For this purpose, we are going to have our students all be editing these slides together. So you'll go to Share and Change. And depending on your permissions, you may have your school domain here. If you have that option, I would recommend selecting your school domain and then Editor. This means that anyone in your school domain with a school account can edit, and then select Done. If you select anyone with the link can edit, you'll still have success, but the tracking of the editing history might be a little bit difficult to find. So this is the best case scenario. When we have our students all editing the same document, it's really important that we discuss digital citizenship. The great news about Google Slides is it does have editing history, so you can select this, and to see any editing edit history and the names, you can select detailed versions and see where people were, and each username will have a color as well, and you can see where they edited. So that's just a talking point for our students with digital citizenship. You can see here I have the first slide, so it has the title, I put the essential question. For this example, I am using a lesson on the Industrial Revolution inventions. We have an essential question, we have academic vocabulary, and then the next few slides are going to go over some directions and resources so that students are set up for success. Just a reminder here, we are modeling a jigsaw. Students are going to start as a whole class just with some directions, and then they're going to go into their expert groups as they go into groups and research and discuss an invention, and then they will share it as a whole class. Slide 3 has the directions, so you'll definitely want a slide or slides with clear directions. This is what students are doing when they are in groups. So they're going to assign group roles and record in the gray space to the left of the slide. What does this mean? So to show you an example, this is group 1. Gray space on Google Slides is over here. Anything over here on the sides. So to access this, they can use the scroll, and then they should be able to select the text box and type the names in for the group roles. It's just a really nice way to increase the real estate on the Google Slides. The gray space will not show if you go to present, but really it's nice that this is over here because these are resources for the teacher in groups, and this is what's being presented. You can see I also was able to insert a YouTube timer, so students can select this and the timer will count down for them. Just a nice feature. Another feature is zoom. Just so you're aware, you can zoom 50% and see even more gray space. Once students have assigned group roles, then I would definitely give a few minutes for that. They are going to now research and create the product. So you'll definitely want to scaffold whatever you want them to create and include on their jigsaw product. For our purposes, these are some of the checklist items. If they have any extra time, they should allow the spokesperson or spokespeople, if they're selecting more than one, to practice with the smaller group before they share with the whole class. And then at the end of the 25 or 30 or however many minutes you're giving them, they can come back together and share. The fourth slide here is showing the groups. So you can see that there's 6 groups. There are 6 inventions. And you can see that students' names would be here on the groups. I'm going to go ahead and share the tool that I used called Flippity. So Flippity is so wonderful. You can go to skip the spreadsheet if you want to just paste the names in. And you can select random name picker. It will pop out to this. So there's a lot of different options. You can go to more if you have 6 or 7. So I have 6 inventions, so I want 6 teams. And you can even change it up if you want. There's even this jigsaw button here, which is wonderful and exactly what we're doing. Once you have your groups, which Flippity is so great because it helps create those random heterogeneous groups, you can take a screenshot. If you don't use Flippity, you can absolutely just type the students' names into whatever group they would be in. Then the students can find their name and find their group. This slide just has group roles, definitely going over this with students. And some digital celebrations. These were used during distance learning when we were still virtual and celebrating in the chat. You can definitely also have students do claps in person, like sparkle snaps or the sparkler clap. There's a lot of fun ones. Okay, so once you have given directions and resources and really feel students are set up for success, then you will create your master slides for your first group. I have gone ahead and created some text boxes. If you're wondering how to get this black line on the outside, it is the border and the color here. So depending on your age group, you can create a template or you can just give them a white slide and have them be the artists. So for this, I just went ahead and created a template. Once you create your master template, you can right click and duplicate and make as many groups as you want. I have seen some teachers put their groups in the front, and that way the slide matches the group number. If you have a lot of groups and that makes sense to you, you can do that and then just tell students that your directions and resources are at the end. But at the top it says the group, which is great. When students are working, a big tip is to use this grid view. That way you can really see students working. So if you are still in a virtual setting and students are in breakout rooms, you can, although you may not be able to be in all groups at once, you can monitor the groups with this grid view. And so say you've given about 15 minutes or 10 minutes and you see group 3, it's still pretty blank, you can go to that group. Even in person, you can see, this is a nice way to monitor as well. When groups are all done, then you can go to present while group 1 is presenting, and then you can just keep clicking through and have them share. So this is how you can use Google Slides for a Jigsaw activity.